Hiya, buddy. Welcome again to Movie Watching, presented by RuudiLand. Today on Movie Watching, we'll be watching The Friends of Eddie Coyle, starring Ben Affleck as a bank-robbing heist man who, can't do any wrong. He always has the perfect solution to every problem, and he's always going to surprise you with it. You're not going to realize what happened until after it happened. That way it seems a lot more clever. But let's not dwell on that now, because we have a special guest today who will be joining us for movie watching. The star of The Friends of Eddie Coyle, Mr. Robert Mitchum. So with the introduction out of the way, how are you feeling today, Mr. Mitchum?
Ask me, I have to tell you I'm not having a very good day.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. What's got you down?
Son of a bitch, I gotta have that stuff fast. I got a long ride to make tomorrow night, and I need the stuff with me when I make it.
Well, we got a pretty big stockpile. We might have it right here. What do you need?
No, I don't want any talk from you and any shit from you. I want 10 guns. I want them tomorrow night. I'll be right there with the money, same place where we were before. I'll be there with the money, you be there with those goddamn guns, because if you ain't, I'll be looking for you, and I'll find you, too. Because I ain't the only one that's gonna be looking for you, and we know how to find people.
I think you may be confused, Ghost of Robert Mitchum. I'm just a lowly entity. I've never tried to sell guns to you, nor do I ever plan on doing it.
Tomorrow night, I need those guns.
Again, I don't sell guns. Maybe you want to talk about your film career a little bit, Mr. Mitchum?
No, I'm not finished. Look, I'm getting old, you hear? I spend most of my life hanging around crummy joints with a bunch of punks, drinking the beer, eating the hash and the hot dogs, and watching the other people go off to Florida while I'm sweating out I'm gonna pay the plumber.
Are you doing a bit right now? I don't have any guns.
You talk else. That ain't right, Dave. That ain't right. You set me up. My own goddamn mother could have told me that.
I didn't set you up for anything. You've been dead for some time. Why are you so quick to accuse me?
Look, one of the first things I learned is never to ask a man why he's in a hurry. All you got to know is I told a man that he could depend on me because you told me I could depend on you. Now, one of us is going to have a big, fat problem. Another thing I learned, if anybody's going to have a problem, you're going to be the one.
Okay, sir. Dead or not, you're not going to speak to me like this on my own set. If you continue with this, I'll have no choice but to reveal your full name and send you back to hell.
I done time when I stood up, but I can't take no more chances. Next time, it's gonna be me going to Florida. You listen, you're still a kid. And you come out and you go around and say, look, I'm a man. You can take what I say, and it happens. I go through. Well, you're learning something too, my friend, and I advise you to learn it right now. When you say that, when you get me out there all by myself on what you say, you better be right there in back of me, because when you say it happens, it's gonna fucking happen. If it don't, you got your thing caught in a zipper.
Do you have a favorite baseball player, maybe from your youth or now?
Number 4, Bobby Orr.
Alright, have you got any plans for the future?
Tomorrow afternoon's okay? No sweat. I'll have the money. No sweat.
Okay, I guess then good luck, Mr. Mitchum. I think I'm gonna go hide out at my beach house now.
Fuck you. You know where I'm going. I should have known better than to trust a cop.
Well, frankly, you should have. Now for I guess the two other stars of the film. Peter Boyle is an old man who lives at his son's house. He's often cranky and crotchety and uses really old, funny words. Richard Jordan is a ADA named Dave Foley. Eddie is a street-level, seasoned member of the Omaha Mafia. He imports illegal and counterfeit cowboy hats. In doing so, he gets picked up by the New Hampshire Police Department. He needs some help from his friends in order to beat that charge up in New Hampshire. Well, his name is in the title. Eddie Coyle essentially shares the screen with two other stories. One about a gang of heist men, and another about a maybe leader or lieutenant of the Boston area mafia. But since they kind of are the friends of Eddie Coyle, it all works out. As you are aware, I usually wait till the end to get to the negative aspects of the film. But as you will soon hear, this one doesn't wait too long to slap you right in the face with it. The Friends of Eddie Coyle continues the despicable tradition of 70s movies that are otherwise really good, having terrible music. This, the Anderson tapes, The Conversation, all examples of okay to really good movies that are almost undercut completely by the poor music choice of the times. To prove the music truly awful, let's listen and watch that same scene with just ambient sounds. Lot better. Now let's try, I don't know, a little more fitting music. Ooh, I also forgot weird 70s aspect ratios. Luckily for us, this one doesn't last very long. Here is the Friends of Eddie Coyle Championship Edition. And strangely, the jerk-off music was still better than the original music. Thankfully, these music sections are brief, and we're only subjected to maybe a handful of them altogether. The acting here is quite impressive. Grizzled Robert Mitchum as grizzled old thug, young Peter Boyle as old mafia guy, the now deceased Richard Jordan as the quizzling district attorney. I heard the whole cast was locked in some guy's cellar for a month to rehearse before shooting. Hey, no wonder they're so sharp together. It feels like a play. Aside from the bad music and town-like heists, we see Eddie do everything to spare his harem of ladyboys from seeing their réti do a long stretch up at the old hoosgow. Dylan is a mob higher-up, trying to appease his masters and stay outside the spotlight of the law. The heists are incredibly similar to a certain Ben Affleck film, which is fine. I'm not saying he's a thief. This could easily be coincidence or an homage. What I am saying is that, while slicker, the town doesn't handle one plot line as well as this handles three. I mean, did you see The Accountant? I seriously thought the ending was a joke. Argo, a goddamn Hollywood circle jerk. Will the Friends of Eddie Coyle come through for old Ed? Can Eddie crawl around in the night like a worm through this dirt patch? Or will Eddie head upriver to prison? Or will he be killed? I certainly hope Eddie finds a way out of this one. The Friends of Eddie Coyle, released in 1973 and directed by Peter Yates, is a gritty trip to the razor's edge that is the life of Eddie Coyle. This criminal underworld offers up a more realistic interpretation than most.
Because I think you need the exercise. Because I like the moonlight. This life's hard, man, but it's harder if you're stupid.
A cutthroat, dog-eat-dog world. Another overlooked malfeasance classic, 8 out of 10. And for those shoppers with discerning tastes, the Friends of Eddie Coyle Championship Edition will be on store shelves by this holiday season. Brought to you exclusively by RuudiLand.
What did you do? I said, what did you do? You hit the alarm. Told you not to do it, and you did it.
Number 4, Bobby Orr.
Ma pa heel runget bina en is nee, nu slap, snee, snee in de klok.